You have a call at no expense to you from
Christopher Cantwell.
an inmate at Albemarle Charlottesville Regional Jail. To accept this call, press or say 5.
5.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another White Elephants live stream as always. Oh, Forgot about that. Yep. Yep, a lot of things are on the horizon. I have to say, though, guys, I'm tired. I am tired, man. I was doing some major lifting today. Major lifting. So I am just absolutely famished. I mean, look at this. I don't know if you can see it, but you see that's a blister. It like popped. You know. So much that it just popped. Let's see what you guys are saying. Tommy Robinson. Oh, yeah, I heard about his situation where they decided to put him in a cell with the general public, right? And we know what general public means, unfortunately. Well, the good thing is, if something happens to him, like it's happened to several people, at least he can, die for the cause. He could, his life could matter, right? Maybe he might end up in the history books. It's a lot better than most of us, right? Most of us, we're just here going through the motions. And a lot of us will just be lost in the endless sea of time. Whereas he is someone that could potentially turn into a statue, Hello, Bamsel. Hello, David Howard. Bruno is in the house. A lot of good people in here. Today's a weird day. I had to get up early. Had to do some major lifting. Tired. Blown out. I'm really hoping that people come on here and they're able to take over this because I just don't have the strength, guys. Broseph is in the house. Tommy would honestly be better off becoming a martyr and making others angry instead of just doing what we already has. Yeah, I mean, look, people are they getting aggressive, standing up for themselves. This isn't something that Europeans have had to do in a long time. They've had it so good for so long, especially in these socialist countries where, they don't really have to work that much, don't really have many problems. They have a very good society. Problem is, with every generation that happens after the generation of people that founded your system and your society, with one step at a time, they start to forget how they got to being great. They forget, who cares? We could just, who needs borders, right? We could just open the doors to everyone. Who needs this? Who needs that? All we need to do is just, we could just sit around and be peaceful and be friendly and be lovable and it'll all work out in the end. Nope. I'm sorry, guys, but no one here is special, okay? You go back thousands of years, we're the same people, just different environment, different circumstance. Maybe these people looked a little different. Maybe their DNA was a little different. Maybe they were in a different climate. Maybe they had different characters. Just different circumstances, but same circle. It's the same circle that happens throughout time, over and over and over. Joxer Boxer, hello to you as well. Spoiler alert, hello to you. I tip my lesbian haircut to you. Yeah, so I don't really have much to talk about, guys. I'm just absolutely blown out. I don't know if you guys have ever done anything super physical to the point where you just know that, whatever energy reserves you typically have are just gone. They're just gone. And it's to the point where you kind of feel like drunkish, where you just blow out your energy reserves and you're just like, you know what, I could just act like a drunk. I could just fall down some stairs, whatever. I'm just out of it. It is what it is. Same needs, eat, sleep, work. Yeah. Everyone's in a different environment, I have friends of mine that are going to school full time and they're working. Some people, maybe all they have to do is just work. Some others, maybe just school. There's pros and cons to all of them. And we may look at things and say, hey, look, this guy's life is better than yours because he has more leisure time and you have to work constantly. But there's pros and cons, You could be born rich, but because you're born rich, that means you're born weak and lazy. But that kid that was born, poor, he has every want in the world to want to get up and get out of his neighborhood. He wants to become something, right? Because he's never had anything. If you've had everything, then you don't have any ambition because you already have everything. You're just lazy and you're weak, and that's kind of what happens, right? Like the better people are treated, the weaker they become, whereas the worser they're treated, the stronger they become. It's kind of it's a weird way how things, work. But just look at the Spartans, right? They, if you wanted to survive, you had better be strong. Very tough environments created Spartans, known as the warrior race, right? Nowadays, you have millennials, right? My generation. What is my generation? The generation of people that were getting babied. They didn't go outside. They just sat inside and played video games. They instead of doing things with their youthful bodies, instead they would just waste away, on their Xboxes and stuff. And I'm not saying that I'm any different. That's what I did. I haven't played video games in a while. I actually want to get back into them just because I think they're good for your reflexes and stuff like that. Look, we can't have battles anymore where we have axes and we take it to people's heads. So men go to video games. We just virtually get our aggression out of our system. It's good stuff. I was actually thinking about buying a game capture device, and then we could all of us, we can come in. I'll play games where I can invite you guys. We'll come in and we'll beat up any anti-Trumpers, stuff like that. See if we can invite Ben Shapiro in there and give him a nice little wedgie. Let's see what you guys are saying. Bro stuff. That's called being a physically active person. That used to be a normal day of work. I don't know if you're talking to me or someone else. Red-pilled libertarian. Why do you have a shirt comparing Hitler with tyrannical dictators? What? I just threw something on. I had no idea what I'm even wearing. I don't know. All I know is I bought quite a few shirts from Infowars.com. And, I just grabbed the one that smelled the best. And then here it is. That Trump, though. We all have the same 24 hours a day. Yeah, but we all wake up and sleep at different times. Like what you're doing right now. White elephants. You're kind of... I didn't read that. What does that say? Let me go look on the YouTube dashboard. I think it's cutting out some words. Yeah, it's much better to look at the YouTube dashboard, honestly, because I could see who you guys are, but when I go on just the screen, what you guys can see, where it only says your name, like some of you guys I haven't really memorized. I'm kind of thick. I don't know about that. Camera's put on about 10 pounds, Only about like 190 pounds. Nothing really crazy going on here. Jock's a boxer. Libertarian Pepe. What is up? Guys, if there's new people in the chat, remember, tell them what's up. We have to be nice to new people. Reminder that tomorrow is Trump's birthday. And Flag Day, really. June 14th is Trump's birthday. Birthday. And it's also Flag Day. Interesting. Did you guys know that if, you know how people do the 1488 stuff, and they turn it into, into numbers, and that's kind of the mascot. If you look at 420, apparently it's Hitler's birthday, but it's also how you do Donald Trump. If you do his initials, DT, it ends up being 420. Interesting stuff. Oh, my legs. Have you ever seen Jack Jake Lloyd on InfoWars. He's a young guy who covers for Owen Troyer. He's the most based person I've seen on InfoWars before. See the guy that led on Fuentes? I know Fuentes was on there a couple of days ago. Did you just get back from the dentist or have you had a few beers? No, I'm just tired. I'm blown out. I've been lifting all day since it's like 8 a.m. White Elephants. Why did you and Red Elephants grab a homeless guy on the street and have also debate him? Oh, you're talking about Arthur Shopper, right? Okay. He's not homeless. That situation's really screwed on that side because a lot of people got all triggered over that conversation and they're like, oh, like guilty by association. And I'm like, dude, I didn't say anything that entire thing. But at the same time, look, if you want to come after me like that, what does that sound? If you want to come after me like that, I'm no cuck, okay? I'm not going to sit back and apologize for anything. And that goes for everybody. Everybody. Okay, I thought it was my computer, but it's actually like a motorbike outside. Yeah, he interviewed Fuentes. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Spoiler alert. Jesse Lee Peterson said he had to cancel Arthur Shopper's segment and kick him out of the building because he wouldn't stop harassing other guests in the group. Okay, I don't believe that. F. Nick Fuentes, have him debate Augustus and Victor. What is their problem? Look, I know Augustus, I've been hearing he's a pagan of some sorts, and Nick is obviously, he does not like anyone that doesn't agree with him, basically. So I'm sure they would have a lot to talk about, but is it only on religion? Is that all there is? Is it religion and you're a pussy, otherwise, unless you fight me? Is that the whole debate here? I always thought Arthur was like 55 years old. Crazy, he's only in his 30s. I'm going to say no comment to that. All right. Chat looks a little dead there with all the comments. So I'm gonna tell you guys why the stream today is called Keep Russia Russian. Now, apparently on Twitter, this Russian, some sort of government worker, said something like they were telling Russian women that for the World Cup, there's going to be a lot of foreigners coming there. And so they told their people, don't race mix. But if you do have to mix within your race. So if you have to mix with someone, mix with an Englishman or an American over an African or a South American, is essentially what they're saying. And of course, there was a lot of cucky Europeans, some leftist Jews jumping in there saying, oh, how this is so terrible. Oh my God, attacking Russia, going after them. And I felt bad just because that Russian, whatever, it was some sort of government person, they said no comment. And I'm like, really? God, I'm so sick of people cucking, man. Just come up with a good, before you say something, come up with a good argument. And then when they come after you, which they will, then go after them. Have a war, If you throw a jab and they block it and then they hit you with a right hook and you don't follow up after that, you're probably going to get hit. Knocked out after the fact. That's what happened. These people said something. They're like, hey, we just want to keep Russia full of Russians, We don't want to change the recipe. If you have a good pizza, you're not going to change the recipe because you're like, hey, this is a good pizza. And then all of a sudden you have these people coming in and say, no, you have to, no, who wants cheese? Cheese is for bigots. Let's switch the cheese to let's put a kale on there. And instead of bread, let's have a pumpkin. There you go. It's ridiculous. If you have a recipe that works, you stick with it. You don't change things around. That's how you screw with things in a bad way. It's not good. I was not in a good mood at the time. I had been, until recently, the last couple of days, I've been in a very bad mood. There's been a lot of black pills going on. There's been a lot of crap on Twitter, a lot of crap on Facebook. It's just kind of getting to me at this point. It usually doesn't, but it has started to. And so I decided to go after these damn people. I found every single person. So this Russia thing, it was on the Twitter feed, and you hit it and you could see like so-called journalists giving their takes on it, which is like quoting them and then calling them like, oh my god, these people are like KKK, these are Russians but they're acting like Nazis and whatever. I was not in the mood for it though. I quote tweeted them. I went after every single one of them as hard as I could because I wanted a war. I needed it. I needed it. I absolutely needed it. There's a lot of turmoil going on here, and I just needed to just get it out and throw it at somebody. And those reporters and those people ended up being my victims. Because first thing they did, start getting quote tweeted by several check marks, calling me, oh, we went after Russia for this, and here comes this Nazi. Oh, man. The only argument they have is that like one guy even said, oh, well, Hitler said he wants Germany for Germans. Therefore, your take on saying keep Russia for Russians, it's similar to what Hitler did. Therefore, you're a Nazi. And it's like, okay, so does that make me Hitler if I'm a vegetarian? Because Hitler was a vegetarian. Does that make me Hitler if I'm pro-animal rights? Because Hitler created animal rights. Does it make me a Nazi or Hitler if I'm pro the environment? Because he was very much pro the environment. Like if I wanted to get into an art school, would that make me Hitler? If I liked art, would that make me Hitler? If it's just like, if I'm a Christian, am I Hitler? We have this like autistic debate of like, oh, if you're somewhat similar, and it's like, okay, let me flip that on you then. You're talking about equality and all this crap. That's all communism. That's not communism. That's just no. It's kind of communism. Therefore, it's communism. That's what you're doing with me. Why can't I do it to you? You're talking about Nazis and all this crap. I just saw someone posted from the Chicago Tribune saying that actually in the Holocaust, like 1 million people got killed or something. And even if you said 6 million or whatever, it still doesn't add up to like 30 million, which was Stalin. Which was this guy. And it definitely doesn't add up to this guy, 70 million, 30 million. This is funny. I have this. It doesn't go over the numbers. But there you go. I don't really see that when people talk about, oh my God, 6 million. And I'm just like, communism killed 100 million. And it's almost taken over the whole world. The whole world almost got destroyed. That was the Cold War. The world wasn't at all close to being destroyed during World War II. It was just would have been taken over by someone else. It wouldn't have been destroyed. The Cold War with the communists almost destroyed the whole world. And then not only that, but then what about like Africa for Africans? Would you call me racist then? That's funny because when I brought that up, I didn't get any more replies anymore. Oh, what is that? Someone just donate? I really need to turn these noises off. Oh, it is. Okay. J22 report with the $2 donation. I'm going to have to go into Streamlabs to read that. But let me go into the comments because as I told you guys, I've had a very physical day today. I'm very tired, but I will do my streams. If I tell you I'm doing a stream, I'm going to do it. But I want you guys to lead the dance here, okay? You guys can lead the tango. I'm just holding on here. That's all that's going on. So let's see what we have here. All right, Broseph says Augustus is 30, Nick is 19. Because they disagree politically, I guess Augustus wants to fight him. Learn to debate, you boomers. Yeah, but I don't think you're better just because you're like, fighting. oh my God, that's for boomers or something. No, look, if you're a man and another man challenges you to a fight, look, you want to be smart. If you know the other guy's going to kick your ass, probably play that whole, oh, well, let's be high IQ people, or blah, 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 blah. But come on, let's be honest. We're all men here, and if someone talks some shit and the other person talks some shit, and they get into a fight, especially in a political movement, and one guy gets his ass kicked and the other one doesn't, I think we all just put someone else on a pedestal. We're like, okay, I think this guy's the leader now, and I think that is something important to do. You know, that's kind of how it is, right? You defeat your enemy and you kind of take his spot, sort of thing. It's what we do in debates, right? We're constantly fighting each other for dominance. Why not fighting physically? I mean, the only reason he wouldn't be for that is because he knows he'd get his ass kicked. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to follow some kid that's just going to get his ass kicked by some 30-year-old guy or however old he is. You know, you want to follow someone that at least knows who could put up somewhat of a fight. You know, he doesn't have to be able to like be the Hulk and stomp everyone out, but you know. You gotta look up the role models and people with giant bobbleheads. It's a good message, but he shouldn't go around calling people pussies and faggots, because when you do that, you're just asking to get punched in the face, and that's what's gonna happen sooner or later. And look, you want to call someone stupid, you call them stupid, but the minute you call them faggot, now those are fighting words, and then when you back down from it due to my high IQ, it's pretty pathetic. My friend in Russia right now with his friends has this great scene line only to... I do know that Katie Hopkins went to Russia, and she was saying how, oh my God, I could just walk around. It's so nice here. It's so nice, and I don't feel, like I'm going to be attacked or anything like that. I honestly think that that is probably the strongest country that has its head on its shoulders. They're the only ones that understand what's going on. And the good thing is they're teamed up with China. China understand what's happening too. They're not taking refugees. And China, at the end of the day, is going to win. Like, that's it. Like, if I had to put money down, yeah, China's going to win. Like, if someone in the next couple hundred years is going to take over, whoever's going to take over the planet, something that Alexander the Great couldn't do, something that no one could have done in the past, no matter how great they were. The people that will come closest to it, that I think, will be the Chinese. They're already buying up Africa. They're buying up our country too. They're invading us in a cyber way and in a physical way. We all think Mexicans or South Americans are the ones invading our country. Number one, it's actually Chinese. It's not something people really think about. Due to the PC culture, I'm sure they're sending a bunch of spies here, and we have no way of dealing with them. During World War II, we were able to be like, hey, we're in a war with Japan, you're Japanese, you're going into a camp. Nowadays, our own people would fight us on that. Even if we got into a war with China, we couldn't throw Chinese into some sort of prisons or something due to, he's his own individual. Even the Jordan Petersons and these people would be fighting us on it. If we got into a major conflict with anyone, we would be utterly destroyed. The pillars of our society are being, degraded. So we have no force field to combat these forms of these kinds of viruses. Let me go down. Jack Tape. That's funny. George Lincoln Rockwell. If we want to celebrate diversity, we should be against race mixing. I mean, really what you need to say is, first of all, if someone ever, and I've seen some like very pretty white girls, and I've seen like, you look at Tommy Lauren, I saw this other video, this other girl who's on YouTube, and there's like videos of like, reporters running up to them saying like, in Tommy Lauren's case, like, oh, would you ever go out with a black guy? The first thing that should go into your mind is, what is your motive? Because why would you run up to someone like that and say that? Why didn't you, look, if you care about mixing, why didn't you say Hispanic? Why didn't you say Asian. Why did you throw out a black person like that? I would say that's one of the things I would say is, other than what is your motive? Because obviously they're trying to get you with a gotcha, But other than that, why are you saying black? They throw out the black as if it's some sort of as if it's some form of like bestiality or something. They're like, oh, would you go out with a black guy? They're like, would you? But they say it in a way that's like bestiality. It's like, oh, would you bang a dog? They say it in that way. And you always see that. Like every single time there's some like white girl that comes onto the scene, you always see them say that. They never say Hispanic. Would you go out with Hispanic? Would you go out with an Asian? They never start with that. It's always black. They always go to like the extreme for some reason. And they say it in a way that is very degrading, as if like would you lower yourself for this person? Which I don't see how leftists aren't picking up on this stuff. I don't see it. They're like, oh, would you lower yourself down to this person and do this? I don't see how people don't pick that up. It's just crazy. I saw a video. It's just like this girl was like, she got asked this question and she was answering, and she gave the typical, oh, well, if he's a nice person, I guess I would date him, but I don't. But I can't because I have a boyfriend that's not black. But just the question itself, it's thrown out there in a way of like as if it's bestiality, and it's just kind of crazy how they don't take any heat for that. Because if it wasn't, why aren't you saying Hispanic? Why aren't you saying Asian? There's more people out there than just white and black, right? And then the way they're saying it too, it's kind of crazy, and yet we're lambasted. We're somehow put up against the fence constantly, and they're even saying things like that. Yep. Keep China for Chinese, Japan for Japanese. Once I started bringing that kind of stuff up, Africa for the Africans, no, they stopped quote tweeting me. They stopped. Like they kept calling the Nazi stuff. I kept making fun of them with the example I said, like, oh, well, if you're saying because Hitler said German for Germans, I'm saying Russian for Russians. If you're saying it's similar, therefore I am. Then if I'm a vegetarian, does that mean I'm Hitler too? And I did that. Then of course they tried to deflect, and one person tried to go after me because on my channel it says streamer, and I look at his and it says like I think it says YouTube vlogger, and I said, really? You're calling me stupid because I say I'm a live streamer? You're just a vlogger. What is vlogging? Is that like does that mean PhD or something? What a fucking schmuck. This just in, David is literally Hitala. Yep. Back from the dead, guys. Back from the dead. Yeah, look, if I try to be a political figure and someone wanted to fight, I'd be down. I'd just, look, give me a mouthpiece. Let's put some lubricant on our faces so we're not ripping our faces up on the gloves. And let's go at it. That's how it should be. That's really how it really should. It's got to be somewhat controlled. Don't want people killed or any brain damage. But if you believe in something, go out there and fight for it. And you don't have to. Don't just do this. This isn't fighting for it. Fighting for it is, all right, I'll meet you where you want to go. And we'll have the rest of the boys. They'll sit back and watch. And whoever wins, it's very animalistic, right? But that's what we are. How many terror attacks are there in Russia? There's a couple. But I've heard Putin say things like, for every Russian that's killed by a Muslim, we'll take out 10 of them. So obviously that's the right thing to do. You want to threaten these people with, if you even think about it, I'm going to slap you. That kind of behavior. We don't have that today because we're not allowed to be tough. We're not allowed to be mean. So we have no real defenses against these people. I love how a leftist will say something like you should travel and meet different people with different cultures, and then you tell them that that's what you're trying to preserve. Yeah. John's in the house. J22, always such a buddy and a pal. Can I dance with Michelle? I don't know. I don't know if I'd let you dance with my best mod. If I did, it feels like a type of cucking, honestly. Let me just get caught up. And then I'll go to the Discord. I'll bring people over. There seems to be some sort of drama as usual going on right now. So J22 is one of the homies. You see, when you treat me well like this, when you compliment me, when you butter me up like a lobster, there's a good chance you're probably going to get a high position in the Discord because of that. That's all you have to do, really. You just got to kiss my ass a little bit. Nick never wanted to fight any of these dudes. He's not a physical leader. Yeah, well, look, if you don't want to be physical leader, don't call people faggots and soy boys. That's when you're attacking someone's masculinity, you are coming from the assumption as if your masculinity is greater than theirs. AKA, let's go. He needs to just say, look, you're a dummy, I'm smarter than you. That doesn't equate to let's fight at all. It does. If you're calling someone stupid, you're not saying that you're more masculine than them. So I think he should stay there. If he doesn't want people to call him out in fights or go to rallies or something and he's there, call them dumb, call them, call them all that kinds of stuff. But don't get into the masculinity stuff. Otherwise, big surprise, guys are going to want to fight him. Russian and Ukrainian women have an in-group white preference. All the ones I know in the States only date white men. Well, all of them do. All of them. The difference is like cucky whites, they don't understand why they behave the way they behave because they deny their biology. But you can't get away from your biology. You are what you are created. That's why like Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, like Neanderthals were more peaceful due to their biology, which came from adaptations from their environment and things like that. And Homo sapiens were more aggressive due to their environment and all their physical adaptations. It just was what it was. So when Homo sapien had a kid with a Homo sapien, that kid would, essentially be aggressive. So your genes and your biology beget your behavior. That's how it's connected. I think you little dirtbag should move to China. Well, I mean, how many terrorist attacks are happening in China, huh? How many people are getting called racist, white supremacist, and Nazis 24/7 in China? Not many. I know they're doing eugenics programs. I know that they grab babies, the little girls, and they're getting rid of them because there's too many people. They're doing a lot of stuff. They're doing a lot of gene therapies, all that stuff, But because they're Asian and not white, all of a sudden it's fine. But if you have a white person doing these things, all of a sudden, oh, these guys are Nazis because they're doing eugenics and blah, 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 blah. And, you want to get away from all the crap? Yeah, I would recommend, move to China, move to Russia, move to Japan. Move to any damn place where people aren't cucked out and they still understand how reality works. That's where you would go. Beware of the yellow peril. Why? Chinese snatching up Australia as well. Do you mean like buying up land? Because it seems like China has just taken over the world. And when places don't have the money to pay back China, they just, if you're in debt, then you're going to take your stuff, right? If you're in debt and the IRS comes after you, you don't pay them. They're just going to start taking your stuff. They're going to steal your bed. They're going to steal your Xbox. They're going to come for your computer. What do you think happens in a larger scale? When one country owes another country trillions of dollars, they're going to start to take your country. They're going to start to take your land. That's what happens. All right, let's keep scrolling down. You see Lauren Simpson and Brittany Pettibone are interviewing Alexander Duggan. I don't know who that is. I do know people were saying he's some sort of fascist or something. But honestly, nowadays, like, these people are such communists. Like, who are you to call anyone anything? Let's be honest. You're just a communist, and you're going around calling people Nazis and white supremacists. Like, how many people did actual white supremacists, like KKK? How many did they kill? I don't even know. Like a few dozen, maybe. I don't know anything about them. Let's just say a few hundred. What's communism killed? You talk about Nazis. How many people have Nazis killed? And how many have communism killed? How do you have the confidence to talk? How do they have the confidence to talk? How do they have the confidence to play victim when the mindsets and everything they beget are essentially just, it's the number one killer of people? I don't get it. I don't get it. David, trust me, don't fight anyone. You're probably gonna get look, you don't know nothing, dude. I would take on anyone in here gladly. We'll put on the mouthpieces. We'll get in the ring. I don't care. Box. Well, I'd rather have MMA. But I mean, we could do boxing. It's fine. I mean, you surf for a living. Don't act like you know how to do. Like, oh man. I know the chat's coming after you though, so I'm just gonna sit back and read the rest. Okay, I might join back later if you're still going. Hey, look, bro, stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening in the Discord, but everyone is welcome on the stream. So if you want to come on and talk about it, we could talk about it. Well, no one should have banned you out of the server, John. There was other mods that said, what, he got banned, and so we got you out. I don't know why you got banned. It was probably someone screwing with you. Asmodor. Do you watch Hate House with Asmodor? I don't know what that is. Hate House? But I don't want to fight you, David. It's not fighting, it's sparring. The birth rate in Japan is so low right now, the government is issuing breeding visas. Look, I think when it comes to birth rates and things like that, all it comes down to is basically there's a lot of cultural factors, but when it comes to high IQ'd individuals, they don't tend to have a lot of kids because they care about their wallets. So I think if you were to, just give them money, like give them some sort of very direct like welfare. If you have a kid, we'll straight up give you like $10,000. I don't know, something like that. If you, maybe you could do a tax thing, but that's very indirect. People are very direct thinkers. They think, oh, I do this, you give me cash. It's very direct, not this, oh, well, if you do this, then through this stipend, you'll get money. That, like, that's not how people think. We're not that evolved, okay? It has to be very direct. And I think that's why people don't have a lot of kids. It's because, one, people want to have the ability to experience the world. They want to do a bunch of things before they're settled down with kids, and then that takes 10, basically 20 years out of your life, essentially. So a lot of people are just thinking about, like, hey, I want to do some stuff before that happens. Now, of course, there are people that just say, hey, look, who cares? Who cares about my bloodline? Who cares about, the country, in Japan's case? Who cares? Like, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And end of story. And first of all, that's selfish. Second of all, I think that's dumb, because who's going to take care of you when you're like 80 or something like that? Let's say you're single, you make it all that far, or let's just say you have a wife too. You make it that far, you're both old, unless your wife is young. And if that happened, then good job. But if not, you're just going to end up being this like old dude sitting in a bed at a old folks home talking about how, I used to surf all the waves and get all the babes. Next thing you know, the Filipino is just getting sick of you, puts the pillow over your head, and then boom, that's it. That's your whole life right there. That's your whole life. I don't like it. I would like to get older and then know that, hey, look, here's my future right here. Let me put them on the best track. Let me give them some wisdom. Let me go to their games. Like, what do you do when you're old and you don't have kids? Like, what the hell are you going to do? Let's be honest. No one has friends. There's no such thing as having a friend. There's only friends. There's no such thing as a friend. Maybe people had those things back in the day. But the minute we got these, the minute we got all these video game consoles, friends went into friends, right? And people, even myself, I have quite a few friends, but I would much rather be by myself. I like being a lone wolf. The only other person I can very much tolerate for long periods of time is obviously Emily. It's because she doesn't really bother me that much. You know, I have my free time. Like, I've been doing my own thing for about a couple days now. I like my space. But I don't know. You know, like, I look at my grandparents and at least they're like, hey, look, we see the future. We see what's going on. You know, at least when you go down into the grave, you can be very optimistic. Like, hey, I did something. I created something. Like, my genes are still out there. I still have something going on. It's not that like, this is like the whole ship sinking. But in the case of you having kids, yeah, the ship is sinking, but you see that some people escaped. And you're like, all right, well, I'm dead, but at least they escaped. Hopefully they have good lives and all that. No, I don't live with Emily. Nations' birth rates rise and fall over time, and it has always been fine, but now the elites aren't willing to lose a dime of productivity from their wage slaves, so we're told it's a big deal. Yeah, it's just kind of like climate change, right? It's just things are always changing. It's always in flux, That's how it's supposed to be. If it wasn't that way, I think it'd be pretty boring. If things were just the same way all the time. I mean, things aren't good due to chaos, but if things stayed the same all the time, I think in environments like that, you tend to have a lot of suicide and a lot of people going insane. So you do need some fluctuation. It's like the oceans, right? With the waves, they're constantly moving. The waves are never just still, right? And if they are, that's pretty scary. But we have the moon to thank for all that. People should travel when they get older. They should have kids, raise them, and travel in their retirement years with their wife or husband. Yeah, I agree with that. I do think you need some time to build yourself some character, though. Because if you're basically a child and then you're raising kids and you don't really have much experience, I mean, what kind of kids are you going to raise? So I do think the perfect age, and this might be too old, is is probably around 30s. Not like early 30s for sure. Not like if you're in mid 30s, it's like you better have them now. This is the final countdown. Right? So, but yeah, around like late 20s, early 30s. But because if you've actually done things, let's just say you've gone to college or you want to study abroad, or if you saved up money and you went on trips when you had a trade or something along those lines, hopefully you've kind of understood the world. You kind of have some sort of philosophy, and you need something to pass down to your kids. You just don't want to be. This is why, like, if you're popping kids out in high school and you're having a kid raise a kid, I mean, what are you really teaching this kid? I mean, you're basically both learning from each other, which is probably not very good if you're a father. But yeah, to answer spoiler alert's little statement here, I look, immigration should never be the excuse, or dropping birth rates should never be the excuse for more immigration. It doesn't make any sense, especially when we're running into a society where everything is going to be run by basically AI and robots and things like this. There's so many jobs that are just, I mean, I went to like a Home Depot the other day, and half of the checkouts were essentially self-checkouts, robot ones. And then the other half are a human, obviously. So it's 50%. 50%. I know you go to grocery stores, they at least maybe 20 to 30% of theirs are checkout. I mean, one by one, all it takes is someone creating an invention that can just do all the repetitive things that you're doing, and then boom, you're gone. Because that robot's never going to complain. They're never going to get tired. They don't need more rights. This is how it is. David is a fighter. Yeah, I used to be. Big Cat Kayla with the burn. Look at John. No, I'm going to die on a huge wave. He's going out the Keanu Reeves style, right? No, Patrick Swayze style. That's how he's going to go out. And the Big Cat says a huge wave of immigrants. Even John laughed at that. That was good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. If I had kids, I wouldn't have been able to see the world. You could still fit kids in there. You can even donate if you catch my drift and still at least have your bloodline out there. I mean, have you ever seen that movie of Vince Vaughn where apparently he has like 500 kids or something like that? Oh, that sounds awesome. Wouldn't that be so cool? If you could do that Genghis Khan type thing where somehow they accidentally give your DNA to like 500 women. I mean, just look at it. You would have so many different looking yous, you know? You would just have so many, just because like there's out of 500 women, there's probably a lot of women. So then you'd have all these kids that would basically be you, but like different variations. It's kind of like the multiverse, right? It was just like, oh, if I had a kid with this person, and then another universe, I had a kid with this person, and then you just keep going, right? So it's like an infinite amount of your kids, but you get to see it because obviously we can't transverse into the multiverse. Does Emily still come on stream with you sometimes? Not really. She's kind of, she did it back in the day, but she's like, she's more behind the scenes now. I think she kind of grew out of it, I think. Me, though, I take it as very fun. So I'm still here. Michelle Elephant, we got a lot of homies in here. Let's see. I'm going to finish with the rest of these comments, and then I'll go to the Discord. I'm expecting someone to be waiting in there. Someone should be in there, because I told you guys, I'm very tired. I don't want to be talking for 3 hours like this. I'm surprised I can even get an hour out. So, someone should be in there. Okay, let's see. David, did you see the video Trump apparently gave to Kim? Cringy. No, I did not see it. But if it's cringy, I probably don't want to see it. Bamzel. These DNA stories coming out lately where people find out that the donated sperm was the doctor's. Oh, fuck. And the doctor has over... Well, you know what? I hope they get some child support. That's what I would say. Because when someone says that they want a certain type of donor, when they say, hey, look, I want my kid to look this way, and someone screws with that, that is... Like, think about that. Just think about that. If you and your wife can't have kids, but then you want a kid to look like you, the closest thing to having a kid, then you go to these places, and all of a sudden this kid is, let's just say this doctor's Asian or something. This kid comes out looking like a hapa. I mean, you had to raise this kid the rest of your life. This is a huge thing. Someone's screwing with you, huge. Actually, there was a story where there's these two white lesbian ladies, and they wanted to have a kid. They wanted a blonde hair, blue eyed kid, just like basically all the Brazilians do. If you have blonde hair and blue eyes, if you donate, you can make some major money because the Brazilians and South Americans, they don't kid around about how they want to look more white. There's a lot of races that are just straight up just angry and they're just very jealous. They won't admit it, but they are. But when it comes to the Brazilians and these people, they don't kid around about that stuff. But the story is these two ladies, they're both white, blonde hair, whatever. They want a kid without doing it the normal way because they're lesbians. So then they go to these doctors or whatever, and they impregnate one of them. They have a kid. Kid comes out looking like Obama. Because apparently they somehow mixed the DNA from the blonde hair, blue eyed person with a black person. And so this kid they were essentially having a mixed kid. Of course, they were angry about it, but the minute that the left and these people found out about it, they basically said, no, you have to shut your mouth. You're in our group because you're in the LGBT. That's on the left. You have to shut your mouth and you have to raise that damn kid. That's your kid now. You can't, no abortions. You have to keep that kid. Otherwise, you're a racist. And of course, oh, we'll love it like our own. And it has nothing to do with like, oh, they should have aborted. I'm not even saying. I'm just saying, look, if you wanted your kid a certain way and someone screws up, it's just like, look, if you were drawing a painting and you screwed up on it, you would essentially just crumple it up and throw it away. That's how people react to those things, When you're eating some food and it's not the food you like, you probably throw it away. But, people act very unnatural nowadays. I will donate $1,000 if you can take me on any wave. If you can take me on any wave. Oh, so some surfer stuff? I've never done surfing stuff. I don't like the ocean. It's very disgusting. A lot of the oceans in my area, they look nice, but then they rate like sea, There's a lot of degenerates down there, homeless people showering, people at night probably trying to rob each other. I don't like dealing, and I don't like ocean. Never have. I watched a lot of movies and stuff on like sea monsters. That stuff terrifies me. So I don't really like messing with. I like staying on my land. Okay, I don't like anything to do with my ocean. Underdog, you can have a surrogate and carry. Who's Underdog? What's up, Underdog? What a black pill. Am in mid-30s, was disabled most of my life, will never be able to fulfill in 14. Are you disabled due to heritable? I don't even know if I can say that. Heritable reasons, or is it due to life? Because obviously, if you have issues that can be passed on, you probably don't want to have kids. You have to think about the child now. Some people weren't supposed to, reproduce, or at least they shouldn't. If anyone has a brain. Major black pill. Well, you know what? You can always adopt. There's some kid in being adopted, or that's just sitting in foster care that needs someone to take them in and teach them about the world and how it actually works. I'm blonde/blue eyes, Bamsel. Yeah, you should definitely make some money, man. Make some of that money, and then hey, you could donate a percentage here because. You know where that money came from. I mean, you raise your child, not the surrogate. You're going to raise the surrogate. Michelle's funny. She's on point today, that's for sure. Yeah, I hope, Bamsel, you're dating someone of the same. Because if you don't, look, I'm telling you, the blonde hair and blue eyes type stuff, that is dying out right now. So if you're like, oh, but I'm dating a base, whatever, look, you can do what you want. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. I'm just saying, like, realize what you're doing. Because when I saw a picture of Clint Eastwood, I don't know what his wife looks like. I'm assuming she's just a white lady. And you look at his kid, looks just like him. Then you get Robert De Niro. And then he has, he was into black women. And then you look at his kids, they don't even somewhat even look like him, let alone do they even look white. I mean, I feel bad for these kids because they're going to probably walk around and be like, oh, I'm a De Niro. Oh, look at me. And people are going to be like, come on, let's be honest. Like, you don't look like him or anything like that. Like, looks matter. Like, we're all visual creatures. Can anyone can press 1 if anyone here can outsurf John? Can someone here outsurf him? Anybody? Mavericks Beach. If you go to Mavericks, dude, you're gonna get killed. I don't know too much about surfing, but I do know that much. My wife's complete opposite. What do you mean by that, Bamsel? You're scaring me right now. You're scaring me, bro. Clint Eastwood's married to a Latina? MTL Goon? Hey. Come on, man. You gotta subscribe if you're new here. If that's true, I would like someone... If you guys are in the Discord, get into the Discord first, and then drop me... I might even have to look it up at this point now you said that. But as we know, Latinas, Hispanics, whatever have you, they're all very similar. They're like, people joke, right, 50, maybe 60% white or whatever, but still pretty close, you know. If anything, and this might sound cucky, but I actually very much do. I grew up with Hispanics, Latinos, all that, and I actually kind of somewhat like their company a little bit more than whites. But at the same time, I never had a whole lot of white friends. I went to a very multicultural place, a lot of Hispanics and all that, and I did go to one school that was very all white. But I don't know. It always seemed a little weird to me. I go to white schools and all of a sudden everyone's like acting a little gay and shit. And I don't know, it's weird. Oh, just met brown hair. That's not a big deal, Bamsel. If anything, maybe if you have two white people and one has blonde and one has brown, maybe the brown might be recessive. Maybe. I mean, as long as they get the eyes. I mean, you could just dye your hair blonde, and as long as they're blue eyes, it just kind of goes with it. He just got divorced. Oh, are you talking about Clint is Sivnat? Clint Eastwood's first wife was wife. Oh man, his second wife was Latino. Guys, look what J22 said. Clint Eastwood's first wife was wife. Man, that's a red pill right there. That's for sure. It's a red pill on something. His second wife was Latina. I like to see. I know with Arnold. He's got one of those kids floating around too. He works at In-N-Out. I can outcook him in burgers and fries. What's up, Teddy? Teddy Abo. Please subscribe, my dude. I like their tacos. My dad was brown. So what? What do you mean? What the hell are you talking about, Bamsel? Throwing out crazy statements like that? J22 hitting that bottle. First wife was white, I mean. Oh, okay, gotcha. I was like, his first wife was wife, huh? So I've never heard that before. This is like code for something. Most white children will be blonde, but their hair gets darker as they get older. Yeah, that's true. I remember being here another time, and there was racist people. Oh my god, are you serious? Dude, let me be honest with you, okay? Democrats are the real racists, and there's no Democrats here, okay? That's all it comes down to. That's all it comes down to, okay? Oh, Iwani saying something, talking about penguins. It's funny. Oscar, what? Clint's son is hot AF. Oh, look at Michelle, man. Michelle's creating a river right now with that kind of talk. John is a Democrat. Yeah, well, John doesn't like to take a stance. He's one of those guys that likes to attack people, but he doesn't want to be attacked, so he won't take a stance on anything. One minute he's like, "Oh, screw the government," and then you're like, "Oh, you want low government?" He's like, "Oh no, I want social programs." No. Whatever. I'm gonna pull someone over right now. Who am I gonna pull? Should it be Kayla, or should I pull Dr. Strangelove, or should I pull Balboa? I'm not in the mood to go against John right now. I'm very tired. But I would like to see maybe Dr. Strangelove go against him, because I see that John wants to come in here. So let's see. Dr. Strangelove is a buddy of mine, so I believe he wouldn't mind if I pull him over. So let's do that. What's up, buddy, old pal? Dr. Strange? Are you there, my dude? This sometimes happens, unfortunately, guys. Fortunately, this sometimes happens. You know, you're in the moment, right? You're with that person, and you're just like, I'm ready to go. But it won't work, you know? Just won't do its job. What can you do? You know? Alright, let's get him out of here. Let's get him out. Alright, I'm going to pull over Kayla now since Kayla's on. I don't know if she could talk, but if she can't talk, then she's going to have to sit in here because this is my Discord. And I have all the power, so. Alright, so Kayla's on with us. I don't know if she'll talk, but she's sure going to listen. That's for certain.
What's up? What do you want, David?
Kayla, what happened? I saw all of you guys fighting.
Fighting. We're just messing around, horsing around. Not too much.
Kayla, do you want to fight against John? I'm very tired right now, but I could definitely sit back and watch you throw some punches at him because he is in the on-air waiting room.
It's just fighting a nihilist at this point. Like, progress with him. He doesn't let you finish a point. He freaking has the worst pivots in history.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone actively avoid a topic like John does. And I know John is listening. John.
Yeah, that's true. What the? Rooster's saying, what do you want, David? Oh. How do you hear? Yeah, I'm just tired, Kayla. I just had one of those days where I have no energy.
Yeah, this is the first night in like a week I've gotten any sleep, so I'm better than I've been.
You know, I would have thought that you would have been getting more sleep considering that you do so much walking.
I do so much walking?
Mm-hmm.
Don't even. I don't know where you're going with that. I think I have a general idea, and I'm just going to say just stop right now.
Well, you did tell me that, you know, you like to carry your laptop around and go for jogs while you're streaming and all that.
Out on the patio is it's not what I consider a jog.
Really?
Not too much. Like the patio.
Oh, I thought you said you would go for walks with it.
How am I going to have Wi-Fi if I'm going for walks?
I don't know. I thought that was your superpower or something. Like Wi-Fi girl or something.
I'm not into the whole artificial, I don't know what, body parts or things like that. Mic is scraping up against your table or something.
What is?
I'm just telling you. Your mic is.
Oh, is it really? Okay, I fixed it.
Yeah.
Do you see that guy? He keeps posting like Arabic type writing. Do you see that?
I saw that before I came in here. Yeah, I don't know who he is. Maybe he's trying to send you a message. Have you actually translated it yet?
Rooster got rid of it, so it's impossible. Well, I could still view it technically, but
all right. I'm gonna do this live because the audience loves doing stuff like this live.
Yeah, that's true. They like doing weird stuff.
I'm gonna search Google.
They all say they want Balboa, but isn't he asleep too? Oh, he's not even in there.
I don't think so. He sent me a message saying, and I was like, ew, I won't. So.
That's true.
Last time I spoke to him.
Man, everyone seems to be like, I get it. It's late, right? Probably for you, it's probably like 10 or 11 right now, but
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing this thing today, and I very much underestimated it. So I had no idea that it was going to go to like 3 p.m. and then I was just tired and then I had to take like a shower because I had to get up early, so I was like, no shower. I just like went that way. That was it. But
Decoded our, I don't even want to call him a Muslim friend, because he's not probably Muslim and he's not a friend either, but I've decoded what he said. It's, "Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done." And I'm sure that maybe the other, just part of the larger. So there you go.
That's interesting. I mean, you would have thought it was like, oh, I'm going to rape your mom and then kill you and throw feces on your dead body, you know?
Posting.
Kind of disappointed, honestly. Look at Super Mud Doom. What's up, Super? That seems like a new person. Someone drop him a link to the Discord. I'm sure he wants to join. And I would love to throw him into the knicker pit. You know, I'm just in one of those moods right now.
Yeah, that's why I'm being a good girl. I'm always, it doesn't matter where I am, I'm always just so good. So good. I never get in any trouble.
That's why you're in here.
And she's an innocent, privileged white woman.
Ooh, she's talking about you?
We all. So she said I am,
not
I am.
Oh, okay. I thought she, okay.
But I can relate to her on that. I can. We can
well,
be
look,
privileged white women.
Yeah, if you're privileged, that means your parents actually did something with their lives, right?
Oh, well, then never mind.
I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, when people complain about being poor or whatever, it's like, okay, well, kids are privileged because of their parents, right? Because their parents are rich. So if you're not rich, that you should be blaming your parents, not those kids over there. Such a stupid thing to, you know.
Well, these are the people that don't believe inheritance is a legitimate thing that can be transferred.
There's some people though that maybe I think we should take their money. There's some people that, you know, like the Rothschilds, Soros. These people have so much money, it's just ridiculous. So those people, I would say, look, there's got to be a point in it that we take their stuff.
Well, I'd say you convict them, and then you have their, wealth listed as an asset or something.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, at least just do it right.
Yeah. Hey, do you have any takes on that Twitter story that came out about what's going on in Russia in the World Cup?
Wasn't it that someone said that don't sleep with anyone, and then if you're going to sleep with someone of your own racial ethnicity?
Yes.
Is that? Like, I would tell them, even if it's not the World Cup, don't do that.
Yeah, it was like some sort of like Russian government person saying that. Then, of course, there was a lot of cucky whites in there, a couple lefty Jews, like a ACLU guy, a couple reporters from Guardian, BBC, blah, blah, blah. And they all ran in there like, oh, Jesus Christ. And they're just like saying all this. I wasn't in the mood for it. So I went after all of them. And, of course, I had some check marks, quote tweeting me, calling me like a Nazi and stuff like that. But, it was just funny. I had a good time going after them, though. They have such garbage arguments, They're like, oh, well, Hitler wanted Germany for Germans. Therefore, if you're saying you want Russia for Russians, then that's the same thing. So dumb.
Well, I mean, at least grow the mustache and then say it.
Oh, look, John.
Optics.
Look at what John said. That's communism, exactly what you guys want. We're communists now.
He's not even. I mean, that's why I don't like John, right? Because John, it's like, I get it, dude. If you want to troll, be my guest. But 2 out of 10, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you that.
Calling us communists. That's a first.
Yeah, lol John. Everybody lol at John.
That's what I like about him, though, because everyone goes after him in the comment section. So he makes the chat actually active because people are just crapping on him the whole time.
Back. I mean, I don't know. What does that say about?
You know, I actually think that they're still going after me on Twitter because last I checked, I have like 12 notifications that I haven't gone after. So I should probably get back to those at the after I'm done streaming because I just love talking to these people.
I can't even do it. I like one comment and then just roll in and shut the fuck up. I'm not like dealing with people, and you know, because the thing they want you to do that. They want you to keep responding so that they can get you to trip up at some point. And I prefer to make a good point and just leave the room.
Yeah,
that's Paulina Costanza, you know.
Can't stand you, Costanza.
That's either your earphones or your Bluetooth making that noise.
David, are your earphones Bluetooth? No, I just have this mic plugged in. Maybe it's this.
Yeah, but is it the mic down there, like down by your shirt, or what? Or is that just
no? It's like right here. I do know I was on a debate with Vince and those guys, and they did say my mic was acting up, but it was like, look, I unplugged it. I don't know what you want from me. Can't really do anything.
And can I also just say something? Because I see this, and boy, does it annoy me while you're fixing your mic. You know, because John's in the chat, and he says, okay, Cat, good point, now leave. That made me chuckle. But it's Cat with a C. Freaking spell. It's Cat with a C. I don't know where this Cat with a K keeps coming from. It's starting to really annoy me. It's so stupid.
You'd think he'd add a couple more Ks to that.
If you're going to, right? It's either 3 Ks or 1 C, nothing in between.
That's funny. That's funny that they get to you so much. Even in the Discord, they always find some way to get underneath your skin all the time.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a kind of like, okay, I don't know. It's funny to get annoyed, but then, because then when you actually get annoyed, then you can at least claim that you're not serious. I don't know. I don't know if it actually works or not. I don't think it does, but
yeah, no one's ever serious. We're all just joking.
Yeah.
Constantly.
I don't want to kill themselves. That'd be awful. Never do such a thing.
Yep.
People are homosexuals, you know?
Yeah. What's your views on Putin? You think he's a good guy, bad guy, cucky guy? What kind of guy is he?
He's not cucky. I don't think you could say that he's cucky. That's the one thing I'm sure about. But I'm a fan of Putin. I like him. I mean, it is always being talked about. Putin is great optics. I'm just saying. If you want to be horseback riding while shirtless, that's great optics. But also, it's sense that, you know, look, he's everyone says he does business with Zog. He's in with, it's Russia, right? It's post-communist Russia. All you can do is try to kick the Bolsheviks out and take their wealth to any extent that's possible, and then from there, but you still have to do business there. You still have to get things done. What are your views on him?
Well, I mean, he talks about, you know, corruption, and he does these interviews where people are talking to him as if he's like Socrates, and he's giving them these like how you should behave in your life, and you know, talk about what's going on in the world and different ideologies and you know how things should be. And obviously, if you look at his country, he has the opposite of what we have. So, you know, obviously they're throwing propaganda at their people, which is telling people, hey, be straight, be, you know, traditionalist Christians. He's a Christian himself. The guy works out basically all day and then he goes to church. You see that the cops are beating the crap out of feminists and not Putin supporters. They're beating the crap out of the Antifa. They're kicking the crap out of immigrants and all these people, making sure that they're in check. That's why there's no violence going on. I mean, their country is the opposite of what we have now. Like, they even had that message saying, like, hey, don't race mix. Like, we want Russia for Russians. We don't want you coming back, you know, and someone dumped you, right? Someone went, they pump and dumped you, and they're back in their home country, and you're sitting here, and you have this thing brewing in you that is maybe won't even look like you, and you have to deal with that the rest of your life. And that kid's gonna have to deal with that too, you know? I mean, it's just so sad that these, when someone is mixed, you know, they don't have a group, you know, they don't really have a people, they're just alone. And I see this all the time, like, anytime we talk about mixed people, they're always saying, "Oh, I don't have a people. I don't really fit in," and it's the same way across the animal kingdom. Like these people, they genetically modified an ant, and the rest of the hive was like, "Hey, get the hell out!" Like they could just tell that there was something wrong with this guy, and they ostracized him. It's the same thing with society. If something looks vastly different than the rest, they're just gonna shoo him away, whether they say it or not. You know. So I don't think it's a good thing, but I think we should at least have a conversation about it. I don't think someone should be able to say, "Oh, you're a this," and that's the end of it. No, I think people should realize what they're doing, because most people just think, "Oh, I'll just have a kid with this person, and who knows what's going to happen." They're not thinking about the consequences. And if you're not thinking about the consequences, I think that should be a form of child abuse.
One loves to kind of tote around this idea that if you're mixed race, you're going to have two whole identities, right? You're going to have two cultures, two countries, two homelands, two people. But, you know, I mean, if you're half black and half Asian, go to Japan and see how well you're accepted. You won't be. Then go to Africa and see how well you're accepted. I mean, and whether it is something that, yeah, we're tribal and it's, you know, just to keep safe. Right, is that we just say, "Oh, okay, yeah, clearly you're one of the tribe. You don't look like a potential enemy. Look like people." I mean, no one wants to admit that they judge. No one does, but we do. It's just maybe it's not the nicest thing.
Yeah, when
we evolve past our animal instincts, plus our past our tribal instincts.
Well, people are always going to look at things that look similar to them, and they're always going to assume based off that this person might be just like them, right? They're like, "Oh, if they look like me, then maybe they hold the same values and they have the same culture and they have the same all of this." And that's why, you know, whenever, you know, Hispanics see a Hispanic person running, and they're like, "Oh, this guy looks like me, therefore he must hold the same values I hold. He must have the same culture I have." Now, is that 100% true? No, but that's the assumption. They're like, "Oh, well, this guy must have." There's a higher chance that this guy has my same values than that white Democrat or that black Democrat. Like this Hispanic Democrat, you know, he's our guy, right? Let's, you know, he's the great, you know, brown hope. Let's throw him out there.
You thought that the 2008 election would start to red pill people on in-group preference. You know, I mean, my goodness. Up in the high 90s, I haven't seen anything like that since like Doug Jones got elected in Alabama. Came out at like 98%, and he's white, but it was just mainly against Roy Moore. But when it comes to like in-group voting preference, I thought Obama's election would definitely start to wake people up that it's still a thing. It's more, you know, it's a thing more than ever.
Yeah, I have seen recently, though, like with the whole North Korean crisis, you can see that there's definitely two different camps going on in the right. And we thought we got rid of the Never Trumpers. We thought we banished them to the, you know, the shadow realm. But you see that they have been reborn. They've come from the ashes again, and they are now in the form of Ben Shapiro. So all of these Never Trumpers, all these Ted Cruz acolytes, all of these people, the Reagan battalions and all of this, the Glenn Becks, all of these people have essentially, surrounded Ben Shapiro. He is basically their guy. And so I saw on the North Korean summit that, you know, Ben Shapiro being, "Oh, my individual, I'm an individual, I have free will, I'm not a blind follower, oh, look at me, I'm such a great person." And he went around, you know, calling the whole thing terrible, saying that, "Oh, this whole meeting is terrible and nothing's going to come out of it, and we have like sacrificed our souls." and all of this. And I'm seeing a very much a cut down the middle between, you know, the InfoWars people, because Alex Jones had a battle with Ben Shapiro. So we have the InfoWars people, we have the Trump people, and then on the left we got the Ben Shapiros and all these so-called, you know, conservatives who think they're going to save the country just with just by going to colleges and beating up 18-year-old obese SJWs.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, the never Trumpers, or no, not even there's for Trumpers, but really, these are people that are more than willing to align with Trump when he does well. People to disappear, and it's a double-edged sword. If you want them to disappear and shut the fuck up, you're most likely going to need Trump to fail. Like, if Trump does anything that they can say, see, this is what good. This is how we can get good stuff done without needing a populist revolution. Because if Trump actually does anything good, the likelihood that it's just going to be like normie tier, right? It's not going to be the wall. It's not going to be like mass deportations. It's not going to be the things necessarily we voted on. If it's a tax thing, if it's a foreign policy thing, and they'll be there and they'll be like, yeah, see, this is the type of Trump we can get behind. He's not calling a Mexican a racist. Like, you know, I mean, as long as he is subdued and well-mannered, then he'll get all of Ben Shapiro's freaking support. I mean, like, that's it. Just be an ineffective politician, and you'll get Shapiro support. Shapiro support. Say that one 5 times fast. It's actually harder than you think. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm seeing here. These people, they claim they want success, but they don't want what we think is good. They have a different value system from what we think is right for America, and that's what we're really fighting with them on.
Yeah, they're
to the right. We don't need them stopping with the Shapiros of the world.
Yeah, they're just such cucky people. And all the people that I know that believe that, they're always these like nerdy, like, oh, like, hi, I worked on these campaigns, but on the off time I work at Walmart or something. And like there's such there's so many like nerds and like annoying people on the right. It's ridiculous. You go to like, clubs and stuff like that, political clubs, you get all these guys, and I would say most people are very Trump sympathetic because Trump is taking over. Most of the new people are coming in due to Trump. You're not really seeing new people come in due to Shapiro, and a lot of the people that are coming in due to Shapiro, they don't really know that Shapiro's a never Trumper. They don't really know, like, they just think that he's on board because he does say a lot of good things about Trump. If he came out being entirely anti-Trump and never Trumper, which he'll probably do in a couple of years, because I feel like they're going to try to run a conservative against him. But that would probably be the death of Trump if they ran some conservative and he cut the vote, and maybe the Democrat might win at that point. But that's only something someone on the right would do, right? Because, I'm an individual and I'm not a blind supporter and I have freedom of speech and I could do whatever I want. Like, they're such idiots. It's like, that's my biggest problem with the right, is they have no loyalty whatsoever. They will fight you to the death so that they can punch right. It's ridiculous.
A society into like 3 groups. You have liberty, equality, and fraternity. And, for the most part, the right claims the liberty aspect, the left claims the equality aspect, and so you kind of have fraternity up for grabs. And whoever's willing to do that, I mean, I think they're obviously going to have an advantage over the other side. And right now, obviously, the left is taking this other kind of position, this third position. And I don't. These people, their mask will eventually slip. They're doing this for popularity. They're doing this for book shows or book sales and show, numbers. And they don't really believe any. I don't think they believe the stuff that they do. I mean, look at Jordan Peterson, right? Jordan Peterson is tweet come out where he's linking a Cato, and anyone that even watches like Tucker Carlson knows that the Cato Institute is they're just a trash excuse for like a libertarian think tank. That come out with the studies saying illegal immigrants don't commit crime, illegal immigrants don't use benefits. It's just absolute garbage. They've been refuted multiple times and they don't think ever. And so I guess Jordan Peterson came out with that tweet. So, and he's just citing what is it? He's citing some study that don't actually use like as much welfare as other people, and it's just a lie. But that's the thing, right? These people get everyone on board, and then next thing you know, oh, what happens, right? Yeah, I mean, let me teach you about Nietzsche, Hegel, and Heidegger, and we're gonna get you really educated. We're gonna get you to be more of a man than you can ever be. Individualism. Okay, now that I've told you about individualism, now let me tell you about how collectivism is communism. Okay, now that I've done it, let me tell you about how immigrants actually aren't the ones taking your money, right? Let me do that too. That is why, I mean, I know a lot of people are anti-left, and I get that, right? I get the left are our enemy, but they're not as big of an enemy as these right-leaning individualists, the civic cucks, the civnats. Those are our enemy. Those are the ones that are trying to cut off the flow of the pipeline from the libertarian or even the leftist to the far right, to the dissident right. To stop progress, I guess you'd say.
Progress. That's a funny word nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. There's certain words that you feel like you can't use without like being like a little dirty for using it. Like you're like traitorous for using the word.
Like, you know, when people say, "Oh, well, we're actually for diversity because we want," but saying that we want diversity, whether or not it's, you know, true or not, is just still cucky, right?
Well, that's, I mean, but I don't know. That's the thing. The left is getting what's that? I'm not looking at my screen. The left is getting us to use their words in their context, new meanings, and I don't know. I don't think we should be doing that.
Damn, John just called someone a racist.
No, he never does that. He never does. Who's a racist?
Oh my gosh.
Show yourself. Name the racist. I used to read Siege. I don't know, Happa. Like burn my house down and get it over with.
What does that even mean, racist? Does that mean that you see differences in, like, you're saying that not everyone's equal and you see that there's differences? Or because a lot of people, I feel like they're saying racist, but they actually mean prejudice.
Oh, okay, I get it. Sam said, "Have you even read Mein Kampf?" And John said, "No, racist." And I think he's calling her Samsung in this chat, right? Like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Only John could come up with this shitty insult, like Samsung. That's a really, I don't even know what to say. That's just awful.
This is why I like my chat, because like J22 No Lives Matter went after him for that race, calling people racist.
Set him straight, guys. I mean, not that you can. I think he's so thick-skulled that I don't think anything can get in there, but you know, I mean, this is the issue. Like, I don't know. Is that this is the same conundrum we get into all the time. Someone comes on and they say, "No, you're this, you're that. I don't agree with you." And you're like, "Okay, sure. I'm not going to do anything for the next half an hour. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about this." And they're like, "Yeah, nah, not really." Or you actually manage to get them into VC or something, or they're more than willing. They're just talking. They're not listening. And you're like, "Yeah, this isn't really a conversation. It's I don't know."
Yeah, that's true.
I won't let John fool me. He almost got one over on me. David, what shirt are you wearing?
Oh, I just got this this old InfoWars shirt I got on right here. I don't know if you can see it.
Sure.
Can you see it? Oh, it's still delayed, huh? Okay. So
Mass murderers agree gun control works. Oh, that's so clever.
Yeah, so there's I can see the middle one and the one to the left, but I can't really see what's going on the right there. You know?
Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't like communism, so I wear this shirt because, you know, with all these communists on there. So,
I don't think people are a fan of your shirt.
well, what are you talking about? Are they pro-communist today? Is John right about them? I got all
Chat,
these
what do you say? Speak for yourselves.
communists on this shirt. I don't know why anyone's angry. I mean, if the shekels are on the communism side, I guess I might start flipping around. I give myself a hammer and sickle flag. That's where everyone goes, right? We flip where the shekels are.
That's right, Hepa.
Oh, you see, Hapa knows.
Okay, let's see. Oh, you're gonna have to dislike. Yeah, no.
Oh,
Hepa
dang.
1776 will commence again. They did nothing wrong. We are breaking the condition. David, are you an asshole?
What does that mean?
National Bolshevik?
Weren't
National
the...
Socialist? National Bolsheviks?
Oh, that's funny, National Bolsheviks.
I don't know if I can.
I
don't
hear
think
that. I hear there's a lot of weird stuff. Like Analytical was saying how there's, or no, Skinny was saying that there's actually skinheads who are actually Zionists.
Skinheads are anti-racist skinheads.
Yeah, that's like, oh, it doesn't make any sense.
Got sharps. I mean, have you ever seen that Geraldo Rivera clip where there's like skinheads talking to a like a Jewish attorney and some black guy who's total ape. And then you've got these other skinheads sitting in the audience like, well, they're making us look bad. We're skinheads against racism. And well, let's just say the black guy ends up chimping out and like trying to strangle one of the actual skinheads. And someone throws a chair. It's a great clip. If you've never seen it, you should.
It sounds pretty funny. Like some guy rolls up on you, he's like, "What? You racist? I'm gonna kill all you." And then they're like, "Nah, we Zionists and we're anti-racist." And they're like, "What the f-?" I feel like that's the only thing you could say when someone that looks like that says that. Oh, look, Earl he wants me to kick Kayla.
Earl, if you're willing to come in here, I'm more than willing to go. I wasn't in the waiting room, so.
Yeah, all these people, they love talking in the chat, but they don't wanna put themselves out there. Like, hey guys, I got myself a family, I got a job. I can't be doxing my voice. That could be the end of me.
Yeah, your voice won't get you. It'll be something else. It's always something else.
Uh-oh, they're calling someone a shlomo in the comments.
Classic chat.
Oh, by the way, what was his name? MTL Goon says he's not a white guy. MTL, what are you? Can you dox your race, please?
Race docs now.
Race docs.
We'll wait.
Where's Gregory Malchuk? Can you guys tag him and get him in here? I want to talk about circumcision, guys.
No, Gregory, I think he's trying to break that meme. He wants to talk about community organizing.
Ah, okay. Organizing the foreskins?
He's a nice boy.
That's true. Which is why I'm trying to help him clone an army of foreskins to make America great again.
All right, Gregory Malchuk. There you go.
My voice is too exclusive for you plebs. Oh, look at Earl. Look at Earl in the chat. Try to guess. MTL Goon says he wants us to guess his race. Do you want to guess, Kayla?
Let's see. What's his
I can't see it.
Alright, let me do this. MTL. What the fuck does MTL mean? I don't know, I'm probably thinking too much into it. He doesn't sound like he's a black guy. He is.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean by his behavior? Okay.
He looks to be a basketball American. Okay, MTL Goon. Are you a basketball American?
It's the final answer. Let's see what happens. Teddy is asking a question. What's your thoughts? In Ireland, Catholic hospitals are now to carry out abortion procedures.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah, he's not. I wanted to guess Asian. East Asian. Because he says goon. There's another word starts with a G. It's my final answer. By the way, on the Ireland situation and the abortions, you give them an inch, they take a mile. So you give them an inch on abortion, next thing you know, they're going to be chopping off kids' dicks. That's just how it works.
Was that story really true about them heating the British hospitals by incinerating babies? I feel like that was almost told to be true. But
Yeah, that sounds too much. Kickstarter to get David a new shirt. I should send you guys like a mailing address, and you guys can just send me shirts. And no, actually, don't send me shirts because I can tell what you guys will send me. Like I open up a box and there's a brown shirt in there.
You'd be lucky to get one of those shirts. All right.
That's true.
Oh yeah, UK.
Remember in Ireland they called themselves Catholics while believing in magical fairies. Oh, that's interesting. Get a P.O. box, David. I know
Is that a legitimate? I'd say that's a legitimate source, right?
What is? Oh,
Telegraph in the UK?
Oh yeah, sure. Whatever you say,
okay,
Kayla.
So this is from 2014. Aborted babies incinerated to heat UK hospitals. Yeah. The bodies of thousands of aborted and miscarried babies were incinerated as clinical waste, with some even used to heat hospitals, an investigation has found. The NHS trusts have admitted burning fetal remains alongside other rubbish, while 2 others use the bodies in waste-to-energy plants, which generate power for heat.
That's creepy. That's like some Satan stuff right there. That's, yeah. I mean, I hear people and they talk about the apocalypse and they talk about the signs of the apocalypse and they talk about them sacrificing children and raping kids in the name of Satan and all that. And I have to say, there's some evidence of this stuff. Pretty weird.
It just shows how little regard we have for children. In the UK, I'm sorry, but I don't know what you freaking guys, I don't know what you Anglos are doing over there. What are you doing? You're having these grooming gangs, and that won't wake you up to fighting back, right? And then you've got the hospital just throwing away babies like they're nothing but garbage.
I mean, some of them are getting aggressive. I mean, you saw at the Tommy Robinson thing, they were willing to kind of stand up to the police.
Full-grown man.
Yeah.
Right? But thousands. Protests. I'm sorry, where were the Tommy Robinson-sized protests? They've got their priorities really messed up. And any society that doesn't cherish their children is a society that is doomed. At least.
Yeah, it's definitely really sad that I think that's another issue with a lot of right-wing people I've seen is they just like to just leave us alone, and they keep retreating into something. But the left, that they don't allow them to retreat. They'll go into your video games, they'll go into your comic books, they'll go into every single little thing, and they'll corrupt it. And I think that's the problem is people are like, oh, well, yeah, there's a bunch of girls getting raped and all this, but, I mean, we don't want to be called racist, so let's not do anything. And that's just, I don't know, it's very bizarre, as Douglas Murray says. It's very bizarre what's happening and how people are reacting to it,
Like, what's bizarre? the people
Well-
reacting to it, or
well-
what they're reacting to, like, or like the implementation of
It-
what they're reacting to.
It's bizarre that people are allowing this to happen. And then secondly, it's bizarre that now that they know it's happening, they're not really doing anything about it.
I don't know. I mean, I think the other people that don't see themselves as your countrymen to make decisions on behalf of your country, the moral standards that your country has to abide by, like that's where you first, whether it's what Muslims or Jews or.
Yeah, I grabbed John Litzy and I threw him in there with Dr. Strangelove and All Lives Matter.
Is Strangelove actually up now?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know if I can even see them talk if they were talking, though.
Oh, that's true. Oh, but No Lives Matters in there.
Yeah, I'm super tired, so I'm just going to talk for another, 15 minutes, so it's a clean 2 hours. Usually I do 3, but today's one of those days.
My day off, so.
That's fun. Yeah. What did you do today? What's a typical day in the Big Cat Kayla day?
It's so nice. Because I haven't slept for over a week, and so I managed to get 10 hours of sleep. It was really nice. Woke up, did emails, scheduling stuff, writing back to people, messaging people back. So it was just kind of just a lazy day.
Who's your favorite guest that you've had on your show so far?
Jared Taylor, but in terms of I really like Mark Collette. I really do like him. He seems to be one of the few people that can really. It's the same points that I have in my mind. So it's I like talking to him a lot. Johnson was really nice as well. I know people have a problem with the homosexual thing, but that's his thing.
Is that Greg Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think we have Stryker for next week, so that's.
I've heard his name. Who is he exactly?
Who? Stryker?
Yeah.
Eric Stryker from I don't know how would you describe him? Ex-communist, now he's a National Socialist. He's very educated on the JQ and is able to he's a character. I like him. So
is he that guy? I've heard some clips of him, some guy, and he's really into National Socialism, and he really he goes out there was a clip I saw on American Pride where whoever this guy was going after a communist, and he was trying to educate people on what really happened, I guess, in the Holocaust and things like that.
Did he have a little blue kind of avatar, like a fist?
I think there was a hand in there, yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, okay. That guy seems like he's very knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen him I think I saw him in a clip where he was going up against other Nazis, but they were of the southern kind, and he was calling them fucking LARPers, and I think he was saying something on the lines of Hitler didn't get rid of all the Jews. He had some that were allies, therefore we should have some allies, and just stuff like that.
Oh, that's an interesting take.
I'm pretty sure he said that. Maybe he didn't say that. I don't want to. Sometimes I think someone said something, but it wasn't exactly. I incorrectly paraphrase sometimes. It's very surprising, but it does happen.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. So it's been fun to be able to just talk to people. That's, I don't know. You never thought you'd be able to talk to people like that ever.
Yeah, you're getting the big guests on. I know. I was thinking once I got back on the Red Elephants, I could start doing some stuff like that. But I don't know. So I'll let you do all the big guests. I want to have like some of the funny guests over. I'll bring over like the Andy Worskies, and we could just talk about crazy stories or something along those lines.
The funnest shows I've done was the House of Faust one because I really like the style of their show. It goes, well, this one went for longer, right? It went for like 5 hours or something almost. It's
Right?
just relaxing. It was just relaxing. It was really funny. Personally, I really enjoyed that. Like if I could have a show like that, but with the guests, I would do that. But it's almost damn near impossible.
Why is that?
I mean, because people are there's a certain thing set up. I mean, that's why I call it the comfy tangent because I try to at least get people just to talk about things. I'm not a good interviewer at all. Like I'm a conversationalist, I guess you'd say. And most people they want to do about an hour or so, and they kind of want to have a certain set of things that they have an idea of what we're going to talk about. But most people are open to anything. I don't know.
I
Or it
see.
goes well if they stay for longer.
Yeah, I see Pravita's in the chat, and he was like, "Oh, do you guys want me to ask Brutus of Troy?" I saw that you interviewed him recently, right?
Yeah.
Was it Brutus a Roman, not a like? Did he just put a few things together and like, "Oh, I'm Brutus of Troy"? Is that his username?
I would trust him though. But let's see.
Yeah, I know. It just seems a little like out of all the people or all the names you could have for a YouTube channel, call yourself Brutus of Troy. I mean, who wants to be named Brutus, after what he did, right?
Brutus the Younger.
Oh, right.
Brutus the Elder.
I guess, but it's still, it's like calling yourself Judas, right? It's like maybe, oh no, I'm talking about his cousin, but it's like, it's still, the name has a lot of bad branding there.
This guy didn't seem too concerned about branding.
No one seems to nowadays. We're in the age of the Paul Nealons and the Patrick Littles, right? Don't be a cuck. Go full power all the time.
So you want me to go full power right now, live on your show?
As long as I don't say it.
You have the disclaimer in your description?
I should. That's something I should add for sure.
For free speech. Visiting guests.
This is
guests do not reflect those of this show or this channel.
Especially when big KKK Kayla comes on, okay?
Well, I didn't bring my news today, so you're safe.
Got the big triple K cat in the house.
As long as one of those K's isn't used to spell cat, like everything's good.
Look, we have a new person. Nylaws Moderns Nylaws. Okay, that's a YouTube username, that's for sure.
Let me see. Nylaws. Yeah, okay.
Do you know anything about the Bilderbergs? People talk about them all the time.
No, I don't. I know a guy that knows about the Rothschilds. Actually, no, you were posting his stuff in the Discord, right? Based British.
Yeah.
He seems to be really, like, knowledgeable on the whole, at least the Rothschilds. So.
Does that guy have a YouTube?
I would assume that would spread out from there. I think he's thinking of doing a YouTube show. I don't know. I've spoken to him, so I'm gonna have to see where he's at with that too. He wants to bring people from Twitter on to an actual hangouts and discuss kind of what got them there, kind of what person is behind the account.
They're saying I'm a Rothschild. If I was a Rothschild, do you think I'd be where I am? I'd be having a good time right now. Probably doing drugs off of like hookers' asses.
Having a good time?
Yeah. If I was a Rothschild, I'd be trying to dox all you guys right now, so I could protect my way of life. I'm only on your guys' side because I'm not, up there. If I was up there, I'd be against you guys. But this is how the dice was rolled. So.
Well, I mean, Just make sure you make the checkout to Big Cat Kayla with a C.
With the okay, no K? Are you sure?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I'll make sure. Do more
Thanks.
street interviews. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to do it.
You should.
I'm
You
gonna.
seem to enjoy talking to people in real life.
Yeah, it's just look. When I go out there, I don't want to be by myself. That's so cringy to walk around by yourself. So I'm like, oh well, if I'm gonna go out there, I want to, have a buddy with me or something. But it's
With Happa.
yeah, but she doesn't, really want to go out and do stuff anymore. So
House Happa.
what?
That's right. I'm turning into a house cat.
Oh,
I'm saying, is she turning into a house Happa?
yeah, something like
Definitely.
that. Like, it was fun before, but it's kind of like, so she's kind of like behind the scenes now. That's why I was trying to get Zach to help me out, but then he got like, he can't drive due to circumstances, so it's like it's very difficult for me to do some. And I don't want to just walk around like I don't want to be like Ice Poseidon where I'm walking around Hollywood by myself. Like, oh, it's just so cringy. Like, I don't want to do that.
If I were you, I wouldn't want to be like Ice Poseidon in any way.
Yeah. It's well, he is Jewish after all. So according to people and what they say about race realism and behaviors, if they say that Jews typically do degenerate, stuff, and then he's super degenerate, is that any surprise?
No. No. Oh.
I think we're having a pagan Christian battle inside the comments.
Every time. All the time. I don't know.
Are you gonna host the debate on your channel, maybe between a pagan and a Christian? Get the battle over with.
Actually, that was one of the things I wanted to do in the beginning. People kind of thought like, oh, well, you shouldn't have blood sports within the movement. I'm like, I'm not having blood sports to fan the flames. I just want it to burn brightly enough so that it puts itself out. I don't know. I don't feel like you can fully get your points out in a comment section or in a Discord. You need
That's
to
true.
be able to actually verbalize your points and let other people be able to hear your points in their entirety. And so, yeah, if anyone wanted to have a pagan v Christian debate, I'd host it. If David wouldn't want to host it or House of Faust wouldn't want to host it.
Well, I would, but I don't know any like pagans are on the same level as like a Jay Dyer. Like I thought, oh, okay, we'll get Jay Dyer. He's like the ultimate Christian guy. Put him up against a pagan, but then I don't know any pagans that will have the ammunition to be able to like combat him. So I've been thinking maybe we'll just because it has to be equal. It has to be equal terms. You don't want someone like Jay Dyer that stomped JF to go up against some little pagan guy.
Versus Varg.
What was that?
Versus Varg.
Oh, okay. So I've never heard of him.
Earl Turner. Never heard of Varg.
Varg. How many G's are in there?
Really? Okay, I'll link you his channel.
Thank you, Kayla. Triple K Kayla. Dropping me the links. Alright, guys. It's getting close to 2 hours. I'm very tired. Usually I'd go 3 hours, but I'm very tired, so I'm going to cut it short soon. We still have a whole 2 minutes. So, if you want to say anything, Kayla, if you want to drop a shout out to whatever, there's 20 people. Now, there's usually, for some reason they're cutting out the 2 zeros. It's actually 2,100 people watching. I don't know why they keep adding out the zeros, but,
Oh, no, that's all right. Discord's been a little funky, too.
Yeah, what can you do?
It's them.
Gotcha.
I won't say who they are, but I'll be good. On Discord, but I would check that out. He's actually not as I don't know, I think everyone you always talk about Varg, and then it kind of is like off-putting at first because you're like, I don't really want to watch like a crazy guy living off the land. Like, I get it, but when you actually watch him, you're like, oh, Okay, well, if he's crazy, he's not that crazy. And he's not, like, wearing a loincloth living off the land. I don't know. He's actually a reasonable person. So I would suggest that you watch him.
Yeah,
Perfect
yeah,
person to go with Jay Dyer.
yeah. Well, I know Jay Dyer is still small enough to where he'll probably go on other channels and talk and stuff. He's not like so. I felt like once JF was like very like after a while he was like, oh, I'm a big deal now, so people come on my show, not the other way around, and I could just like say screw you to some people. But I feel like Jay Dyer will still go on other streams. Like he followed me pretty quick on Twitter, so I think I could probably message him if I can find a decent pagan to do the battle. But I feel like for a debate like that,
Getting in touch with Jay Dyer would be much easier than getting in touch with Varg. We've reached out to Varg and we're still waiting for. We'll have to try again because that would be fantastic. And what the fuck? I love Earl now.
we all love Triple K Kayla. All right then,
Her
Kayla.
nickname is.
I'm gonna end it.
Well, then I'm gonna hop out of here. Thanks for dragging me on.
And thank you for coming on because people don't like to come on for some reason. They're very shy. All right, see ya, Kayla.
Have a good night, David. Bye, chat.
All right, I just threw her in the voice chat with John Litzy, so I'm sure that must be fun. Thank you guys for watching as usual. Very tiring day, but I got a lot done. I do want you guys to know that I want to get conversations going that aren't really happening normally. So I'm going to start contacting some pagans, see if they want to come on here. You know, it's a lot of cool discussions I want to have in that field for sure. I'm definitely going to start to make some more moves. I know these shows are kind of whatever. You need to bring on guests to get bigger. So I'm going to bring over some pagans. I'm going to try to contact some people. Varg versus Dyer. I know, right? If you can get Varg versus Dyer, Varg isn't happening. Okay, Pravita said that. Okay. That sucks. Well, I do want some pagans on here. I might start inviting small channels to see if they want to come on, talk about stuff. I think it's super interesting. Because you don't hear about this stuff anywhere. Like, I would even like to have some Buddhists on here. I think Buddhism, some different types of philosophies like Stoicism. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. It'd be cool to get some Persians on. They have their own old school, the fire temples and stuff. Just like cool ancient stuff. I've always thought that ancient civilizations were always just really cool stuff. Like, you think about it like Indiana Jones. He goes into these places and then it's all these ancient stuff and, maybe like treasures and Fountain of Youth and all these things. But I think it's all pretty interesting. And Zoroastrian, his cool stuff. Yeah, see? I know there's a lot of religions that took a lot of stuff from the Zoroastrian type stuff. I was reading up on it a little bit because I was like, what happened to the Persians, So, Triple K Kayla, when I start my show soon, don't worry, I'll single you out. Why is everyone starting their own show all the time? The only reason I started a show is because there wasn't really a whole lot of content out. Like, there still isn't really. There's just like, if you want to watch political live streams, you have the Red Elephants, you have my channel, you have like Fuentes, you have Andy Worski, you have JF. And then maybe there's some other like little alt-right places, but I think all the like the kind of big ones are kind of like right here to a degree. We used to have Baked, but he got ostracized because he cucked, right? No traitors, no redcoats, no Judases. None of that. So, looks like the chat's dying down. So, if you're not in the Discord, jump into the Discord because that is where all the fun continues to be held. It never stops in the Discord. It stops in the chat when the stream stops, but it doesn't stop in the Discord. So, join the Discord. Alright. Baked employed by being a retard. That is the biggest red pill there is. No lives matter. That's what matters. So, thank you guys for watching. To all my Europeans out there, don't be a cuck. Stand up for yourselves and stay white. Okay, friends? Thank you for watching.